Welcome back to TMZ Live. The case of Mackenzie Shirilla has really captivated people, and everyone seems to have an opinion about her case after watching the Netflix documentary, The Crash. Mackenzie is the young woman who is serving a life sentence right now for the murder of her boyfriend and one of their friends because she was driving in the car with them early one morning and went speeding down a road 100 miles an hour and crashed into a building. They died, she survived. But now, as we've seen a lot of the details play out in this trial, people are wondering, and we had Mackenzie's father on the show last week, whether or not she really should be serving a life sentence. That, if anything, this may be manslaughter and not a murder case. So, which would clearly affect her sentence, which is what her parents would like to happen. They've tried on a couple of appeals and it has failed. But we got some text messages now. These are text messages that we got from the prosecutor's office that paint a slightly different picture about the relationship between Mackenzie and her boyfriend, Dominic. Obviously, the prosecutor said that Mackenzie got behind the wheel that night and intended to kill Dominic, and, you know, their friend happened to be in the car as well. So these text messages paint a different picture, that Dominic, apparently, according to Mackenzie, was attempting to kill her at one point. She said she showed up at his house, and she's sitting outside and texts him, wants him to come out of the house. He says, fine, I'll come out, give me a sec. And then she tells him, you're gonna go in the back seat of my car, because you're not allowed in the front. Okay, well, don't have it started. I don't want you to try to pull off. Now, that is interesting because it shows, I think, that he did not want to. Something had happened where he didn't want to be in the car with her.
Sure, with her driving.
Something before. So I would see how that would help the prosecutor's case. But then it continues, and she answers to him, do you think I would have my car started with you in it, knowing that you just tried to kill me? I'm very okay, and you trying to kill me again. You better come inside my car, ready to give 3 reasons why I should be in this relationship with you, and 3 reasons why you love me.
Right.
What is happening here? I mean, obviously, it's very clear from the documentary and from these text messages alone, it's a volatile relationship. This is about 2 weeks before the crash.
Correct.
We've heard that he was talking about breaking up with her. So whatever it is they're arguing about, why this text where she's saying, you tried to kill me, how did that not become a bigger thing in the trial?
So I think this is kind of stemming from, as you see in the documentary too, they talk about this incident where Mackenzie was driving erratically, according to Dominic and Dominic's family, because Dominic was in the passenger seat, called his mom, said Mackenzie is driving erratically, she's speeding up, I'm trying to get her to slow down. Dominic's mom responds, says, okay, but we're gonna send, I think they said their uncle.
So that's why he's saying, I don't want to get in the car with
He's scared to get in the car with her, but she's scared for him to go in the passenger seat because of something that happened in that car weeks before the actual crash.
See, and that's where I think, like, why Mackenzie's lawyer didn't nail that down more. Like, what was, flesh that out. If there really was an incident where Dominic tried to kill her, if there really was, where is that evidence being presented in court?
Right, and I think that's something prosecutors, I mean, there's 30,000 pages of text messages between these two. I mean, they dated for 4 years. But I think that's something prosecutors, at the end of the day, realized she was the one behind the wheel. This was premeditated. They said that incident between, you know, Dominic and Mackenzie in the car weeks beforehand, that is part of this premeditated and planned out
Meaning
crash.
that because for several weeks they were going back and forth at each other, arguing about breaking up.
Right.
That
showing up to his house.
She snapped that night and decided that I gotta say, when you watch the documentary, at the beginning of it, it seems very clear cut. Oh, she did this. But as you watch it, I don't know. I don't know that it's as clear cut as it seemed at the beginning.
For sure, and her, you know, mom mentions that she suffered this disorder called POTS, which can give like dizziness, and she says in some of these text messages that we saw too that she's experiencing blackouts. So, and she says too, Mackenzie stays strong and says she doesn't remember what happened.
But again, the POTS thing, which they brought up, and I was like, that seems like a a good, plausible defense, at least it would cause some confusion that it's not beyond a shadow of a doubt that she.
Right. But then why don't they have anyone
why
medical
didn't they?
testifying? I mean,
Right.
the family's still trying to appeal to this day, so we'll see if it ever works out. But there's so much evidence, and prosecutors
Yeah.
are sure she was purposeful.
It's D from Dallas, and I personally don't think these texts Mackenzie is now showing change anything. I do think that it shows that this is a prime example of how toxic a relationship can get if you don't leave. But I think Mackenzie's team is now trying to use this to change the narrative because Dom is not here to change his side, and it makes you wonder how sorry she really is.
Yeah, her lack of remorse is a big deal in the documentary, and it's one of the reasons people feel like she actually is guilty. But I don't know. They're still trying to get another appeal. I don't know if they're going to get it, but it seems like there's some evidence there that would at least lead to winning a new trial. But to this point, it has not.